everyone, it's Di here from Diane. We have a bit of a large project for you this week. Now I've got two sizes here. I'm going to be making the smaller size because you don't need 12 by 12 paper. With the larger size you do need to have a 12 by 12 piece of card. So in my instructions, my written instructions that are on Diane for stamping, crafting and tutorials, you will find both measurements on the tutorial for the smaller one and the larger one. So I will show you what it looks like. This is called a frame card. So it comes in a box and it's a frame. See how beautiful that looks? It stands up like this, and I haven't done it but in this case, but it will have a writing panel on the back here like so. Now I did this one in designer series paper, but to me it's just a little bit too flimsy. So when I did my second card and I sized it down because to me it was just a little bit too big, and plus the fact a lot of people don't buy 12 by 12 card. So this was my card that was, and they're both my prototypes. So they stand up like this, and that's what it looks like. There isn't a real lot of difference. There's about a ½ an inch difference in it, but the amount of extra cards you need, I just thought it was a real lot. So we're going to do this card. Again, I'm going to be using some of my design series paper that's retired, but we will go through it. I'm going to be using the pansy patch. Now I've done a little bit of the stamping already because I've actually stamped onto gold foil card, and if you're stamping onto gold foil card you need to do it with stays on, and you need to clean your stamp straight away, otherwise it will stain it. So I've already done that, and plus the fact it takes a bit longer to dry, so I've already done that bit, so that bit's done. So let me go. I'll leave my piece of paper here to go through it all because there's actually a lot of bits and pieces. For the box, whoops, wrong way around, where's my box? For my box I have got here all the bits. This piece measures 10.5 by 6.25, and then you'll need two pieces that measure 4 1/8 by 4 1/8 squared, and two pieces of designer paper, which I'm using this beautiful green that matches it, that measure 3 7/8 by 3 7/8 of an inch. Okay, so, and then you're going to need 4 pieces again in the gold that measure 4 1/8 by ½ an inch, and then 4 pieces that are going to go on the top of this, and I'm going to turn you off in a minute and stick all these down before we go any further, that measure for 3 7/8 by ½ an inch. So I'm going to stop and stick all those down, and then we'll be back. So here we are, we're back again. So I've stuck all of those down ready for our main part, and this is for my tag to go on this. So that's the box. Now I'll pop that on one side because we'll make the box first, but let me show you. This is what we're going to need for the frame. Now this piece measures 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, and then you're going to need another piece of designer series paper that measures 4 by 4, and I didn't make the stand. That was very clever of me. And then you'll need another piece of this card that measures 4 by 4 as well. So I will do that. I'll turn you off again in a moment. And I'm going to do that. This measures 3 and can't remember now. Again, 3.5 by 3.5 to make my 2 circles. I've used the second size and the third size because I wanted to be able to see the gold around the edge. Now this is my writing panel, and this measures 2 inches by 4 inches, and I've actually cut out a couple of these beautiful pansies, and leaves from the pansy patch paper, which is gorgeous, and the dye actually fits absolutely gorgeous over them, so I just thought they would look really good. So I'm going to just, once again, I'm going to pop you on hold, and I'm just going to go and do the stand, and I'll be back and we'll get on with this. So I'm just going to cut this, which is another piece that is 4 inches by 4 inches. By 4 inches. Okay, so that is all our pieces for our frame. So let's sit down and pop this over here, because we're going to start with our box. So our box piece here is our 10.5 by 6.25. Now don't worry, because all the written measurements are on my Facebook group, so you don't have to remember them all. So, and we're going to bring in our scoreboard, and we're going to score this at, let me bring my paper in here because I really can't remember. We're going to score on the long side at 4 3/8. 1, 2, 3/8. 5. 9 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Oops. And 10. Now on the short side we're going to score this at 5/8 of an inch. 5/8. 1 1/4. 5 3/4. Now that's all the scoring we're going to be doing on that piece. So let's pop this out of the way, and I need to turn my page because I need to figure out how to put it together. It's not really complicated, but there's a lot to do. So we're going to start by folding and burnishing all our score lines. This is why I've got you on hold, just to stick all the pieces together, because there's just so much on this that you really don't want to be watching me stick all those pieces together. Okay, so we've now got all our score lines scored and burnished, and we're going to start with our piece that has the 2 lines on this side here. So our 2 score lines down on my right hand side, and we're going to start by, on the bottom here, we're going to cut just up to, I've got this upside down, never mind, we'll do that, just up to the first score line, because there's only 1 score line at the bottom. So 2 score lines to the side, 1 score line at the bottom, and we're just going to notch this middle one here, and then we're going to notch this one here, and cut away this one and notch the side at the same time. So, and then we're going to notch the top one and take these 2 squares off here. And then we're going to take this top square off, and we're going to notch down on this side here. And then we're going to notch this one down. We're going to cut this one all the way down to the second score line. Take the first score line square out and notch that down too. And then we're going to remove both of these score lines here. So that down there so you can have a look at it while I'll put this away. All this rubbish. So we have our piece of card. It looks like there's 2 score lines here. So we've taken the 3 around here off and the 1 in this corner. We've taken this little one off the top here and the 2 that are across the top, and we've notched in this bottom one here. So that is our box done. So we're going to now round the corners on our lid, which is this piece that's left. Let's move them out the way. There we go. So that's the corners rounded on our lid. Making sure, if you're like me, you've left a bit of the score line on there, just pop it off, because it doesn't look nice. There we go, that looks better. And while this is flat, we're going to glue on our panels. So we're going to glue, we can't glue on our bottom panel, but we can glue on our middle panel here and here, and we can glue on our panel here, 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 and we can leave that one until afterwards. So let's do those. I've got glue on my finger and it's annoying me. Whoops. So we're going to glue these panels all along to the front of our box, or on the sides of our box. Can't even see where I'm going now. By doing it while they're flat, it is actually easier to do. How gorgeous is this paper? What a shame it's no longer available. Oops. And then the one across the top there. And the one on the bottom we'll do once we've glued our box together. So that's our pieces on our box. So let's pour in our side, and we're going to bring these together and glue that together on that side there. So along this tab here, we're going to pop some glue. And we're going to pull that across and glue our side down. Now, so that we know we get this nice and square, we're going to pop our top in like so, like that. Oops, we can then see that we didn't put our piece on the back real straight. And we're going to pop our sides in. And we know that's our front here where we've tucked it in. So we're going to then push our bottom piece in, put some glue onto the other piece. And push that down nice and tight across the bottom there, like so. And we're just going to wait for that to stick for a few seconds. You can always, oops, there we go. You can always pull this open and then just pop our bone folder in the bottom here just to make sure it's nice and tight. I've got a bit of a squiggly bit on the end there. There we go. Oops. I don't like that, but I can't do anything about it. So we're going to pop our bit on the bottom. like so. And then we can open our top of our box and we can decorate. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove that piece of glue off my pen. I'm going to use some double-sided tape, and I have this gold ribbon which is also retired now, and I'm going to pop gold ribbon right around. So I'm going to start about a third of the way across the top here, and I'm going to pop my tape right around the box so it comes back to the beginning, and break it off. This way I can now see if it's not straight, I can actually move it over a bit and bring it over and around. There we go. So now I'm going to just quietly just burnish that down around. That looks really nice and neat, doesn't it? And then we're going to pop our piece off the top, and carefully, with our putting our box up onto the piece of card, I'm just going to pop some glue on the top of my ribbon piece that's going to go across here. And the reason I'm doing that is because the ribbon will actually stick a lot better. Whoops, get it up if you put it up the right way, it'll even stick even better. I don't know why, it just seems to stick a lot better if you actually put a bit of glue underneath it as well. And we're going to keep going around our box. Oops. Bit over the top there, never mind. And around to this side here again, and back to the front. Once we get to the front, we can then tie off our, cut off our ribbon. And while that's just drying there like that, we'll pop our lid in there. Now glue, get in there, and make a bow to go on the front. So we're going to need a bit bigger bow than the last one, so let's move that over there. Wrong way round. Out of the way. There we go. We have our nice bow. And with what we're going to do with our other piece here, we have a piece of card here, and we're going to actually use this Scout tag topper punch to put a nice tag top on the top of the punch here, and here we'll, oops, round the bottoms, and then I will put on here, oh, and I didn't get the stamp out. So let's get him out now and pop him on a block. So let's pop that one over there. And I'm only going to stamp in Memento Black. There we go. And we can pop this onto here like so. with a couple of dimensions. Oops. Over the hole, and then we're going to pop our ribbon on top of it with a couple of glue dots. Now I haven't got any ornaments here, you know, like any embellishments here today. I don't know what I was thinking when I was getting ready for this project. Oops. One more. We can pop our bow onto the top there, like so. Now I can trim that down. I'll use my bigger scissors because they'll actually cut better with it. And I will get some embellishments before we finish. So that is our box done, except for embellishments. So that's our box part of our card, or our project. Oops, I mean a bit too hard. So I'll pop him over there, and now we're going to get on with the other part. Now let me turn the page. And, oh hang on. This bit we want first. So now we have our other part of the card, which is our 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. This makes the frame itself. This is my stand, which is the 4 by 4 that we cut earlier, and this is for the inside of the card, my 2 circles and my writing panel and everything else. So let's put my stamp back on there for my writing panel, and let's do my little bit of stamping, which just says happy birthday, and then we can pop that out of the way. Now what did I do with my ink pad? There it is. So we're going to pop this onto here and just pop, oh, there we are, when we put there, just happy birthday in the middle like so, and that's all I'm putting on that one because I've got my other piece just over here. So let's pop that out of the way for a moment. Let's pop those out of the way for a minute, and we'll work on this piece here. So this is the piece that's going to take a lots and lots of score lines. So we're going to score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2, and 2 inches. And we're going to do that on all 4 sides. So 1/2, 1, 1 1/2, 2. 1/2, 1, 1 1/2, 2. And once again, 1/2, 1, 1 1/2, and 2. Now at this stage it doesn't matter which way round is which, but then on the other side, this top side here, we're going to make a mark. We're going to mark down at 2 1/2, down to the second score line. So just down to, I can't see if you can see it very well, just down to the second score line. So just down to the 1 inch score line. And we're going to do the same at the 5 3/4 inch mark. 5 3/4. This down to the second score line, like so. And then we're going to turn it around 180 degrees. So those 2 lines are now at the bottom, and once again we're going to score this at 2 1/2 down to the second score line, and 5 3/4 just down to the second score line. So we now have all these score lines on our paper. So I'll move that out of the way. And that. So we now have our piece of card that has measured, that is scored on 4 sides at half, 1, 1.5, 2 on all 4 sides. And then on the top and the bottom, and it doesn't matter which is the top and the bottom, you need to mark that 2.5 down to the second score line, and at 5 3/4 down to the second score line, and then at the other end, turning it, as I said, turn it 180 degrees and score down to 2.5 down to the second score line, and 5 3/4 down to the second score line. So now here comes all our cutting pieces. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut down this score line, this last one that we did that's just 2 down. Going to cut down there and cut on an angle from that corner through to the bottom of the next score lines, like so. Can you see that? Down that first score line, that 2.5 inch one, down to the 1 inch, and then across on an angle. And then we're going to go down that one there, and we're going to cut this corner right out, like so. Let's just make sure that's nice and neat on that one. And we're going to do that on this one as well. So we're going to cut down to the second score line, and then across on an angle to the third score line, and then down to the fourth score line, and then cut that whole section away. So we're left now with this shape here. We're going to turn it around, and we're going to do exactly the same again on the other end. Down to that score line, across, and cut that one away. Now it's better to do all of this before you actually fold and burnish it, because it's just easier. And then we're going to cut that piece away now, there, like so. And we're left with a piece of card that looks like this shape. Now, so we've got 4 score lines on this side, and they're straight, and then you've got your 4 score lines on this side with the shape. So now we're going to fold and burnish all these score lines. On all 4 sides. Oops, I've missed one. Missed the whole side out. That one in the middle too. Okie dokie. So now that we've done all our score lines, we're going to take our piece of designer series paper that is 4x4, and we're going to glue that into the centre here. My lid on there because we are going to need it again, but it's getting warm in this room now. And we're going to pop that into the centre like so. Now it doesn't matter that it's not, if it's not quite in the centre, as long as it's within those lines. Just don't go over that score line on those sides. So we're going to start with our straight edges like so. It's just easier to do it with the straight edges first. So what we're going to do is we're going to place glue along this outer edge. And we're going to fold this in half and then in half again. Now I found this to be the easiest way to make sure that I've got a nice cube shape on there, on that edge. And so we're going to do that again. We're going to fold this down. We're going to put our glue onto this outer edge one section. We're going to fold it in half and then fold it in half again. By doing that, you're going to get a nice crisp edge like this on each side. So when we do the other ones, these are going to go in here like so. So we're going to do exactly the same again. We're going to put our glue on this edge here. And before we go any further, don't know which is the easiest way to do this, so I'm going to do it this way and see if this is easier than the other way that I did it. I'm going to put my glue dots on this corner here, right on that corner, on the inside corner of both of these. So when I fold this down and in, which I can't do that, when I fold this in and over, I can fold that right down and in and under there like that, and I can put that nice and neat on that edge there at the same time and just push along that edge. That is such an easier way to doing it than the other way that I've seen other people do it. So that is that edge done. It is a little bit trickier, but let's do it this way. So we're going to pop our glue dot right on the corner on the inside, not on the outside. Just remember that, on the inside corner. Oops. Let's pop that out of the way. We're going to pop our glue along this bottom edge. And I've got a little bit over the top there. We're going to bring this up and then we're going to have to curl that under, right under. And while we're curling that under, we can push it down and we've got these corners in nicely, and that's going to sit on there like so. And that looks just perfect to me. That's a beautiful, lovely frame shape now. And that was much easier than trying to tuck one under afterwards. So that's our frame. So now let's see, we're going to need to get our, let's pop that on there, scoreboard once again. Let's pop that piece out of the way from there. And we need to score our piece that's 4x4 down the middle at 2 inches. And we fold that in half. And round the corners on either side, it doesn't really matter because they're even. I didn't press nicely, did it? That's better. And we can pop this onto our back of our piece like so. So we're going to stick our flat edge piece to the back of the card. I definitely need to fill my pot up with glue. Now at this stage, because we haven't decorated, it doesn't matter which one, but just remember once again that you want to make this come into the middle as much as you can. and up from the bottom, whichever edge you're going to make as your bottom, so that it will stand like so. And then we're going to pop on our writing panel on the back here. So that we can now write our message, and this goes over the top of that side anyway, so it doesn't get seen. So we can write our message to whoever we're giving this to on the back of our card. For our other pieces, we've got our, we're going to glue these all together. Oops, come back. So I'm going to glue my circle onto my circle. And I'm going to put my lid on that. And I'm going to quickly, oh my goodness, I just bent my pen for the third time this week. And I didn't bring my dimensions over, so I'll go get those. There we go. So we're going to then pop this up onto some dimension. Oops. Like so. Now putting the circle in is not going to matter which way around you've got it. It's only once you've finished putting your circle in, you're going to have to make sure that you've got your piece running the right way. And we're going to pop our little piece on the bottom that I did earlier. Now this piece measured, let's see, 3 3/4 of an inch by 1/2 inch. And this says, a little hello from me to you. It's just along the bottom like so. And now we're going to just pop our pansies up on some more dimensions that I cut out of the designer series paper. Oops, I'm going to put them upside down. Along with a couple of leaves that I'm just going to actually pop in there straight. I have to get my husband to try and straighten my pin for me. And this is why he's doing it, because it's now clunked up. Oh, come on, get in there. Let's see if this pin will go in. That's better. And that's that part done. All we need to do now is put some decorations on it. Oh, and I still can't get that pin in there. So let's pop them out of the way. Let's see what I've got over here. I'm going to use some of my older things because I just want to start using things up, and I know that I've got heaps and heaps of them. So let's just find them and use them. We're wearing gold. We're going to use the gold faceted gems. You can see I've never opened them, and this makes me a little bit cross with me because I buy things and then don't use them. Oops, that can go just there because it fell off. Now we'll pop one on that corner here and here. And then we'll do the same on this other corner. Put one on this corner, bigger one. and a couple of smaller ones here and here. And that's that it done. Let's bring in this piece, and we will pop a couple on this one. So let's pop one of those really big ones there, and a couple of these small ones either side of it. Oops, pressed down a little bit too hard there. And that's our card for today. Well, what do you think? I think it's gorgeous. I absolutely think it's absolutely gorgeous. What a lovely idea for somebody to put on the side. You could make this into a beautiful Christmas card with a big poinsettia in the middle, or snowflakes or whatever, and in lovely that sort of paper. But I just think I just love it. It's so gorgeous, and it's really easy to make. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up. If you have never been here before and it's your first time, please subscribe so that you don't miss any more of my projects. If you would like the written tutorial for this card, and as I said, it would be in my written tutorial has it in both sizes, which is the, let me see what that is, the 4 3/4 inch size, as well as the 4 3/8 of an inch size. So there's not a real lot in it, but I will have both sizes, so if you want to make the bigger one you can, and with all the measurements for all the layers and everything. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and bye for now.